Hello and welcome back to Void Dreamer. We will be continuing where we left off, which if you recall is after deciding to keep Anwell, the Martin. The suspicious little Martin, who I don't want on the ship. Let it be known that I do not like him. But yeah, the captain decided to keep him on the ship, despite Kalia's basically just being like, oh my god, I can't believe you're this dumb that you want to keep this guy. And to the captain's, I guess, well, not credit, but just like, the captain does have a reason for not literally getting rid of him, because it would kind of be like bad to just like say like, oh here, let me show you around the ship and then throw him into an airlock and then space him, because I mean that would probably be very illegal. But like, yeah, like deciding to keep him and then telling Rail like, hey, I kind of need you to keep an eye on him and babysit him. Even though, yeah, I know that you are very interested in trying to work on the code and then figuring out what happened with, you know, that other ship and whatnot. I kind of need you to also keep an eye on this guy, but also I need you to keep an eye on the crew, because I don't know if I can be able to trust them to not be sympathetic with this guy and then do something. Like, okay. Yeah, you're putting me in a difficult position here. But yeah. Yeah. It's a mess, as far as I'm concerned. Poor Rail. He just wanted to be there and figure out what went wrong with this code and then hope that this ship doesn't blow up. But no, now there is a new character. And now he's a potential danger. And you're babysitting him. Well, anyways, so now we're going to be spending some time with different crew members. And by different crew members, I just mean the captain, Bromka, Oba, and Tolmany. Because those are the only ones that I care about. So yeah, let's continue. So right now is when you can technically just go around and talk to a whole bunch of people. Normally, I would, at this point, just go like, eh. But yeah, let's go wander around and talk to some people. I'm actually going to try to see if I can go back into the bridge. Given all the options on the table, the only person that you can really imagine spending more time with right now is Zubari. Getting to know the captain better might do you good. You turn right back around and make your way back onto the bridge. He's probably going to be surprised to see you again so soon. And indeed, as you step onto the bridge again, he does turn with a frown towards you. He doesn't seem irritated, just confused. Rail? Got something to add? Nah, I was looking for you. Strange as it might sound, no. No? You nod, though you pause. You can see the view from outside the ship is shifting. Your course is changing. One of the stars is brighter than the others. Headed for the primary? I'm just finishing laying in the course. What are you doing back here? Honestly, company. At that, the captain laughs and relaxes back into his chair. Not the reaction that you'd expected at all. I'm flattered, really. But you probably want to make friends with someone your own age. You scoff. You're not that old. I'm not gonna ask you to guess. And I appreciate it really, but I'm not doing anything. I feel like not doing anything with some company. I can leave if you really want. Again, he chuckles, and the wolf shakes his head. No, you don't have to leave. Just surprised is all, especially after how we left things a moment ago. You start to make your way over towards him, and he waves towards him as a station. You take a seat there again and rotate it back to face the other wolf. Nice to know that I can keep you guessing. Oh, I never doubted for a minute. He leans forward, eyes focused all the harder on you. What do you want, though? I just said, wanted to keep you company, even if you're not going to be here too long. No, I get that. I just don't get why. You blink and shake your head. Something you said. It kinda stuck in my mind. Got me thinking. And what was that? That no one flies the fringes of space if they're not running from something. Ah. The wolf's smile returns as he folds his arms across that broad chest. And you want to know what I'm running from? The thought did occur to me, yeah. But it's a personal thing to ask. Don't need to pry. No, it's fine. I don't mind, and besides, I ripped you open in front of the whole crew. Got you to bare yourself as close to naked as I could. You're not sure that's true. So go on, ask it. Make it formal. Well, that's as close as a solid male steel invitation as you'll get. Well, what is it that you're on the fringe of space running from? Reality. You blink and tilt your head. An ear perks up. That is not the response that you expected. Again. You're running from reality? The reality of life in the galaxy. The constant bustle, the grind. Galactic authority looking over everything. Intra-system politics. The pettiness of it all. And the boredom. I got sick of it a long time ago, so I made some stupid financial decisions. Bought myself an amazing ship. Flew her as fast and as far as I could take her. Doesn't sound like it worked out so badly for you. The wolf laughs at that. Oh sure, you see it now. But 50 years ago, when I set out with the Dreamer, you got to remember she was a near-to-stock Exultan too. Beautiful and amazing, but impossible. I didn't get very far before reality got a grip of me again. I had to stop what I was doing and think. Turn the problem over in my head. And what problem was that? Problems, plural. The first was an easy one, creds. I didn't have the creds to keep her in the black. I had to find a way to make sure that I could do that. That one seems to have been an easy thing to solve. You hooked up with the Astrogation Guild. You got it on one. That made perfect sense the more that I thought about it. Get paid to fly away from everyone? I felt like I'd looked right out. It wasn't all that you'd hoped? No, it was more than I'd ever dared dream. He smiles as he closes his eyes for a moment. She's amazingly self-sufficient now, but back then, Dreamer was a nightmare, and I sure couldn't run everything by myself. Oba wouldn't come along until much, much later. So, that was the second problem. I needed someone who'd keep her in the black, someone good enough and trusted enough, and well-liked enough to not get on my nerves all the way out here. Sam? Sam, eventually, but yeah. Though back then, they weren't on the ship all the time. They take a tour here and a tour there, bit like Kalia in reverse actually. You open your muzzle to ask, but close it right away, quickly. Given how antagonistic Kalia is, you wonder what the real reason for having her aboard is. It's not like she approves of Zubari's command. If Zubari noticed, he doesn't say anything. Sam wouldn't be aboard until much later. I took an AG staff specifically for the purpose. Cheaper, reliable, and solved the problem. He pauses and frowns. There were some non-AG personnel aboard from time to time too, but not long. Like who? Like no one that I want to get into, if that's all the same. You nod. The wolf's entitled to his secrets. From the look that he's giving you, it's clearly a sore spot. After a couple of decades of doing this, some of the current crew started to enter the picture. I decided that I didn't want AG staff, but people who I knew. People that I could trust to do the job right. Took a bit, but Sam eventually fell in love with her too. They decided to stay on in a more permanent capacity. I had my NG, but not a full crew, not back then. When was this then? Sam coming on? By this point, that was about 30 years ago. Wow, he really has been doing this a long time. We went through a pile full of sensor officers in those first few years. Once I wanted specific people aboard, they were all AG veterans who didn't really fit the ship. None of them stayed. Until Kalia? The wolf cocks his head as his eyes focused up on you again. Yeah, actually. She was the first sensor officer that we had aboard who stuck around. Well, mostly stuck around anyway. It wasn't the job that she wanted, not the job that she'd eventually have, not alone anyway. I figured, I don't know if you've ever needed a second in command back then, but you definitely have wanted someone on the sensors while you flew. Well, don't go asking me to spill the histories of the rest of the crew. They can speak for themselves. He chuckles as he scratches his muzzle for a moment and looks down at his console. You sneak a quick peek yourself, but can't quite see it from this angle. Zubari smiles as he turns back towards you. Just seeing how far we are from our destination. Should be in a stable close solar orbit in about half an hour. You nod as you glance at the view outside again. I do get it, you know. Get what? Running away from everything. Yeah, figured that you might. I mean, beyond my own stuff. Beyond all the things that went wrong with me. I still feel like when I was a cub, staring out at the stars, they kept telling me one day that I'd drive me mad. It just made me love them more. The captain nods and closes his eyes for a moment. When they open again, he's smiling. Almost sounds like you might be convinced to stay on for another tour after this. Maybe it's too soon to say. This isn't the life that you wanted. He'd know how much this life would suit you. Honestly, I'm trying not to think about that too much. Really? Yeah. Come on, it's every spacer's dream to run a ship like this. Just the endless black, your ship, your crew, and the life. You glance out at the stars for a moment. When you turn back to Zubari, the captain understandably is confused. It's too perfect. Understanding finally spreads across Zubari's features as he nods and leans back in his chair. And after everything, you don't know if you deserve such a good life. Something that fits you so well? You'd be lying if you said otherwise. Something like that. But the reality is that it's not a matter of deserving it or whether or not I've earned it. I'm here. Yeah, you are. And I wouldn't put the question forward if I wasn't interested in your honest opinion. I get that. And I know that you know that I'd love to live this sort of life, given half a chance. But we just got started. You know my life, my history. I know the ship, the job. You're worried after today? You can't help but sigh. A little. I knew the French could be dangerous, but well, it really brings it all into focus, doesn't it? Also brings into focus the good that we can do. If we'd not been here, he'd be dead. And that could still be a problem for us. Sometimes you let a problem on your ship and it doesn't leave. He smirks as he perks an ear, eyeing you up. Subtle. You smile and shrug. Not saying that I don't intend to leave, but I could see myself settling into the life pretty easily. Easy as any other spacer anyway, and that'd be fine, if it was just my call. After all, let's not get ahead of ourselves. You don't even know if you want me. Brought you aboard already, knowing what I know. How much worse could it get? Tempting fate now, aren't you? He barks a quick laugh. Oh, so he's superstitious. Good to know. No, never mind. Zubari continues to laugh, but the sound softens as he shakes his head. We've got all our quirks. Didn't mean a thing by it. Sure. No, really, it's adorable. Adorable, huh? Well, that's a bit better than embarrassing. With a quirk in his smile, adorable? You disapprove? I don't know. Good-looking guys telling me that I'm adorable. That's the sort of thing to make me think a lot of things. The wolf's ears perk up. Good-looking, huh? You smirk and shrug back at him. I've seen worse. Now that's just mean. The wolf chuckles, and you smile in turn. Well, it's good to know that he's not outright adverse, and he does sort of push a few of your buttons. Not what you expected coming through here, but hey, nice bonus. Anyway, there's not a lot to do right now, not besides simply cruise in towards the primary and park. I could think of a few ways to pass the time depending on how adorable you really think that I am. He lifts an eyebrow, but you do catch the twitch of his tail and a brief wag. Adorable is one thing, Rail. Give me a chance, hey? That's not a no for all time, and you're happy to take that. Hey, I'm just happy for the company, as long as you are, at least. Well, I definitely don't mind. I might not really be all that chatty, just as a warning. You have been more surprised if he was willing to just blurt everything and anything out. I'm okay with that, but if I was hoping to learn a bit more about you, chat a bit. He laughs again as he turns his attention back to the field of stars. If you catch me anywhere on the ship, I'm almost always up for a quick chat. If I'm in the gym though, you either want to join me or let me work out. Company's good, but it's hard enough to try and stay fit without distractions making it less appealing. I suppose that I can understand that. Are you so open with all the crew? He smirks at the stars. Only the ones who want me to be. I don't have a lot to hide, Rail. Just some things that I keep to myself. Same as anyone. Any chance that I might get to learn them? That causes the wolf to turn to face you. His smile is slipping. Maybe. Maybe you will. But that's then, and this is now. Now, I just want to make sure that we get to the star and get topping off the reactor. You wince and shrink back a little and miss his seat. You didn't mean to make him uncomfortable. I'm sorry, I didn't. You're fine, don't worry. His smile returns as he shifts his view back to the black. You've impressed me. You're working hard and listening to what you're told, showing me that I was right to bring you aboard. And then today, going over to get Annual in my place, like I told you earlier, that was a hell of a thing to do, and it's not nothing to me. You just keep doing what you're doing. Keep being you. That's all that I want you to do. Do that, and who knows, maybe you'll get what you want. Wish that I knew what that was. You're young. You'll figure it out. He tosses a quick wink your way. I've got faith in you. You nod to yourself as the wolf falls silent. You follow his gaze out into the endless expanse of space. Maybe, if you can figure out what exactly it is that you want, you'll get it after all. Zubari's confidence in you is nice. It's reason enough to not want to let him down, or yourself. It's surprisingly comforting spending the next little while with Zubari on the bridge. You get to see the wolf in his element, mastering the controls of his starship as she approaches the star. Their refueling process is relatively smooth as well, and the captain talks to you through the whole process as he's doing so. It's not that you need him to, but he's so enthusiastic about showing you it all that you're more than happy to give him a pass. The two of you simply sit quietly after that, relaxing together on the bridge. It's a more restful thing than you would have expected, all things considered, but it's something that you didn't know that you needed. And at the end of it, at the very least, it seems Zubari needed it too. When you finally both leave the bridge some hours later, it feels like barely any time has passed. But time has passed. As you check in with Oba, you realize that your time on the bridge took you to effectively the end of the first shift, or where it would have been normally anyway. You feel the tiredness in the back of your mind, but it's somewhat muted thanks to the relaxing time that you spent with Zubari. Maybe you needed to rest, but you have all the first shift tomorrow to sleep. You've got time, you've got options. So, let me remember, do I go to the commissary? No. I believe you can actually go and visit quote-unquote Oba. You make your way through the ship to the main computer core room, right between the command center and the engineering bay. It's a small room, little more than a closet filled with various banks of computer equipment. In the center of the room sits a small pedestal connected by a thick cable to the core proper. And upon the pedestal rests a silver sphere, just barely too large to fit in the palm of your paw. You've seen these before. This is the brain of a Class 3 Biomech Service Solutions simulant, Oba's brain.
What? Not even going to knock before entering my chambers?
Your eyes remain transfixed on the silver sphere as you shrug. I can leave if you want.
And let you not lovingly stare at my brain? Perish the thought.
You chuckle and smile, finally looking up towards the source of her voice. It's a really nice brain. Is it all that survived from your shell? The simulant's tone cools a few degrees.
The part that mattered survived.
Oh, I'm not arguing. I didn't mean any offense.
You are very lucky that I like you, Stray. What are you doing here anyway? Looking for a little one-on-one time with the ship mind, are you?
My quarters would be better suited for that, I think. Less chance of interruption while I'm in there.
Oh, and he thinks too. The whole package, Stray. That's what you are.
You're going to make me blush, you know.
Well, we can't have that, can we? Did I mention that you smell foul? Look abhorrent? Your intellect is sub-average and your disappointment to your family?
A smirk crosses your face as you shake your head. Thanks for keeping me honest.
And I only say family because I can't use friends. Because you don't have any.
Your eyes roll.
On account of the smell. And the looks.
The...
Mostly the smell, though.
I got it. Thanks, Oba.
You're welcome. Now back to my question. What are you doing here?
I'm just exploring, if I'm honest. Thought that I'd check out the computer core since I've not had a chance yet. There was a silence before the sound of the simulant clicking a non-existent tongue.
Well, here you are. Is it everything that you expected?
All that and more.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. My circuits are positively giddy. You can go now.
You blink. I literally just got here.
And you got what you wanted. The computer core is a sensitive thing, Stray. Only the captain, Tomini, and Sam are authorized to be here.
Yes, but on the other paw... You control the doors, Oba. You could have locked me out.
I could have, yes, but you clearly wanted to see, and I have a degree of autonomy over what is essentially my quarters. But this is a sensitive part of the ship, Stray. Can't have just anyone wandering in here.
You could always make a case for your presence, your reason. I did go to the IGA, you know. I have a fair bit of experience with simulants and core technologies.
Didn't you drop out?
I also have a long history of writing soft for computer cores just like this.
And I have seen your record, you know.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
All right, harsh point, but well made. I'll leave you to it.
Much appreciated, Stray. This is why you're my favorite, you know.
Not favored enough to let me stick around and...
And what? Poke around in my guts? Do you think that I'd just let anyone do that? Would you let, say, the captain just go poking around inside of you without any training?
You smirk and lick your lips. You've given that some consideration. I mean, if you were into it, I let him poke around my insides all he wants. Oba's sigh sounds particularly exasperated.
Ah, you organics and your squishy bits.
Sorry.
Well then, with that out of the way, you had best get going. I wouldn't want to sap all your free time on a rare day such as today.
All right, I'm going.
Very good, Stray. I'm sure that I'll see you wherever you're going.
You know, that's really creepy, right?
I know. You're welcome.
You shake your head, but can't help the smile on your muzzle. Fair enough, she's made her feelings on the matter known. Time to head elsewhere. Let's see. Let's get the lower floors out of the way. I don't believe that there's anything in the command center. Cargo bay. You make your way through the underside of the ship, heading towards the cargo bay access. It doesn't take you long before you're standing outside the door. There's no sound coming from the inside of the bay as far as you can tell. You reach the door controls and key the door open. Instead of allowing you access, it simply buzzes in the negative at you. Oba?
Yes?
Is there any reason why I can't get in here?
Into the cargo bay? Yes.
Okay, what is it?
It's restricted?
That's a new one. Why is that?
Captain's orders. Sorry. Why do you want to go in there anyway?
Good question. I was just curious.
Well, hold on to that feeling. It'll make the wait more bearable.
Well, damn. Looks like you're not getting inside. I do believe there is one more place that you can check. You figured that it might be a good idea to head on down to engineering. Maybe Sam's up to something down there. Before you can even make it to the door to the bay, there was a click above you.
Oh, don't do that.
Oba, what's wrong?
Sam's asleep in there.
You're confused for a second before you realize, yes, of course, Sam sleeps between first and second shift, and they've been up much later than usual, what with the Anwell situation. No wonder Oba is stopping you. She probably just saved you a lot of trouble, and potentially bruises. Thanks, Oba. Good catch.
You're welcome, Stray. I was tempted to let you go in, but then I'd be the one cleaning the smears across the floor that you'd turn into.
It's nice to have friends who care.
They're nice floors, Stray. I wouldn't want you to be spread across them.
You chuckle as you step back from the door. Guess you'll have to find somewhere else to go. I already went to the bridge. I don't believe that Zubari is going to be there right now. think that I can actually go to the rec room? You make your way down to the rec room. Whether there's someone present or not, maybe you can find something to do there for a bit. When the doors slide open, you find yourself on the raised section overlooking a recessed floor beneath a tall, domed ceiling. Data terms are set up on the desks around the rim of the lower area, while integrated neural processing chairs are set up opposite of them. At present, they're empty. You're a little surprised to see a curved couch at the far end of the room, curling around the recessed floor's edge before a holographic projector. Nice bit of retro flair for such a high-tech room. A feline plush, some child's toy, one of Zubari's, rests on the couch. Shelves line much of the walls, filled with narrow boxes, hollow shard racks, memorabilia, and even physical books. Quaint. Bronca is the only one in the room, seated at a data term and studying the display with fervent focus. He does not appear to have noticed your entry, and you make your way over to him. Brom? He looks up with a start, but smiles a moment later when he realizes who it is. Ah, Rail. Hello there. Hey, what are you doing? He glances back at the display for a moment. Nothing of any real consequence. I am afraid that you'd find it all pretty boring. I was just in the mood for company. The bear smiles warmly as he folds his paws in his lap. And you thought of me. Is there anyone aboard as friendly as you? He laughs and shrugs. I suppose that depends on your definition. He turns more fully to focus on you as his smile broadens. Some would definitely suggest Miz is more friendly, but his definition of friendly includes a lot more shed clothing. Well, he's not wrong from all that you can see, and Miz makes sure that you can see a lot. He certainly does seem friendly in his own way. Bronco just smiles and settles into his chair. I'm definitely glad that you appreciate my particular brand of friendliness. Hey, what's not to like? The bear's ears twitch as he averts his eyes. You can imagine his blush, even if he's hiding it effectively. You're just trying to make me blush now, aren't you? I should be so lucky. Now you definitely catch the red in his ears. This is very unfair, you know. How's that? You're teasing me, but I haven't teased you back. You chuckle and shrug as Bromka smiles back at you. I'm not stopping you. Oh, I wouldn't dare. Teasing isn't my nature. Too friendly? Too slow in the tongue. I trip over myself. Flirting, for instance, is a nightmare. Now I'm gonna mess with him. I don't believe that for a second. Oh, it is very true. I am terrible at it. No reason to be. Why bother flirting when you look like that? Bromka freezes in place. His only movement comes from the twitch of one of the widened eyes. Why bother? Because looking like that's all the flirtation someone should need. You didn't think that his eyes could widen further, and yet... well, that's just not the case. Ever. Well, there's no accounting for taste after all. Yes, well, He starts to stammer incomprehensibly. His ears are burning. It's even cuter this time around. Most tastes don't actually, tread my way. Can't imagine why. I'm hard-pressed to find a flaw. He coughs and glances away. The bear's paws are fidgeting in his lap furiously as he shivers. Please, my size is often enough to drive people away. I'm... Plush, warm, very huggable even. Oh. He clears his throat again as he looks down at his ample frame. Well, that's good to know. There's plenty of appeal there, and in the rest of you too. Now you're just trying to make me blush. No need for that. You're doing plenty of it without me going on and on. He averts his gaze from you again as he hugs his middle tightly. Stars, please stop. You blink and lean back. The bear's tone didn't quite match the words, but you don't want to press. Maybe the embarrassment covered something that you missed. Discomfort? You might have crossed the line or gone too hard for the poor bear. I'm sorry if I said something wrong or too much. No, you're fine. I promise you're fine. I just, wow, I need a moment. I'm just not really used to hearing this. I didn't think that you would, find you so attractive. Yeah, that. You chuckle. It's adorable that he thinks that. Everyone's got tastes, Brom. I just think that you might taste real good. Oh, stars. He fans himself with a paw as he smiles back at you. If your intention is to trip me up completely, congratulations. It's working. Just as long as I've made my intentions clear by now. Oh, I certainly think you have, yes. He clears his throat again as his smile fades slightly. A glance is stolen back at his data term. Do you do this to everyone? Flirt so openly? Just the ones that I find attractive. Oh, then I should probably be very flattered. You know, I can't stop. If you're not interested, No! Oh, that was a quick response. Bromka notices after the fact as well. His blush burns brighter in his ears as he squeaks and turns away again. No, I just can't tell anyone what they should like, of course. I should be used to this by now, but I am not. He should be? Now that's interesting indeed. I can't help it, sorry. You're cute. His blush burns again as he fights to hold your gaze. But if I'm too much, I can back off. He shakes his head, and you smile anew. You're already pretty confident that you've got his attention as well, from that reaction of the idea a minute ago. No, it's alright, really. Honestly, it's kind of what I tend to, need. Oh? Not really a take charge, get what you want sort of bear? That makes him chuckle as he shrugs. Not really. It's a bit easier to be led, or at least it is for me. So if you're, well, making overtures? I'd say that I am. He laughs quietly to himself, nodding all the while. I'd say that you are too, and I am interested. You grin back at him. That's the answer that you were hoping for. That said though, he definitely looks too flustered right now to really be able to handle too much more aggressive flirtation. Well, maybe when you get a bit more comfortable around me, we can explore that. He closes his eyes for a moment, as if considering the words far more deeply than you'd intended. Then he smiles and opens them once more. Maybe I would like that. Very much. Later. Good. Later it is then. You watch as he recollects himself as best as he can. You're worried for a second that he won't be able to, but after a deep and somewhat ragged breath, he does so. What are you up to anyway? You said that you were studying something? Yes, but nothing that I can't do later. You nod as you wave at the data term, stepping closer. This could be a good chance to get his feelings on Anwell. Anything to do with Anwell? The bear shakes his head as he turns to look up at you. Stars, no. That work is done for now, and thankfully so. Please don't think that I mean to shrink my responsibilities to my patient. I am not trying to do that at all. Kind of hard to do that while he's asleep. And there I hope that he remains. He will need his rest to recover, and a lot of it. I hope that he will be alright, but I worry. His presence here is definitely strange. You arch an eyebrow, perking an ear as Bromka sighs. But you don't need to hear about my worries and concerns. I am just wary, given the circumstances surrounding his presence here. I don't think anyone could call skepticism a bad idea right now. Not like we know all that much yet. The bear's gaze drops slightly. It is what all I do know that worries me so, but he is my patient first, and that is my priority for now. Or, for later. This is for now. Once more he nods towards a data term, and you turn your attention to it. You've probably got all that you can out of him regarding Anwell at this point anyway. The ship doesn't exactly have a library. The rec room's as close as it comes, if you want to do some study. Your quarters don't have a data term? Oh, Rail, you should never work where you sleep. It is awful for you. That would never have flown with you before you'd come here. High-tech work tends to be location agnostic after all. Still, the stress was location agnostic too. Maybe the bear's not wrong there. But this research, it is more on the fun side. Have a look. You lean in and identify immediately what the bear's doing. The display is full of recipes. Everything from mains to desserts to snacks to aperitifs to cocktails are available to him. You idly wonder how many of them have already been converted to the systems of the replicator, recombiner, and cooker. Looks tasty. He smiles and shrugs. Food is life. When I am not working, I like to indulge. We're not cooking in the commissary right now. I am still indulging in my passion. I am learning new things, exploring new options. How else did I develop such a dish for you yesterday without putting the work in here? Good point. Less fun than eating though. To you perhaps, but my people find passion in many places. In food, in song, in knowledge, and much, much more. Passion need not be for one thing after all. I adore my role as a healer. I love to fly. I love space and traversing it. But food is where your heart truly lies? He chuckles, though the sound is a little sharper than you would expect. Were that the case, I would be a chef. Any reason why you're not? His expression tweaks for a moment. That bubbly smiling view is darkened almost faster than you can blink and resolves itself again. It was not for me. You did catch a little hint yesterday that there was a little more to this passion not matching his career choice than he was saying. And yet, that flicker on Bromka's face implies that it's not the sort of tale that he's all that interested in telling. That he's fallen silent almost immediately backs that up. Best not to push it. That sounds like a shame to me. It is the way of things. Did your vocational choice reflect your desires or your necessities? You think back to what drove you to develop Soft. What feels unnatural now is hardly what you would have thought when you were younger. I can't argue with that. We don't always get to choose where our path leads us, do we? Look at you here, with us. I mean, I sort of did choose this, to be fair. The Soft needs to work. The bear's smile is wide and bright. You wouldn't put us in danger, Rail. I am sure of it, and so is Tomini. It'd be nice if you could let yourself believe that. The bear peers at you hard as he tilts his head slowly to the side. Do you think that you deserve that worse circumstance? The bluntness of the question catches you completely off guard. What do you mean? Bromka sits up as he shuts off the data term display. He turns towards you and folds his arms across his chest. I just wonder. You are here out of necessity far more so than desire. And given the cost of it, I just wonder how much guilt you carry. You feel your hackles bristle at the suggestion. Your heart beats faster as you clench your jaw. I'd say that I got a fairly good idea of how much guilt I carry. Bromka must have noticed a shift in your tone and demeanor because he nods and closes his eyes. There is a silence for a moment as you struggle to calm yourself. I apologize. I meant no offense, nor to upset you. I promise that I ask only out of concern. You don't doubt that, but there is a line, right? You don't dive deep into someone's psyche without being invited in first. I said as much about Anwil, that I can mend his body, but his heart and mind are things that I cannot speak to, that I can't fix. You seem like a nice person, Rail, genuine. I wouldn't want you to carry around such pain if it could be helped. The irony of you being genuine when you agreed to become Zubari's spy is not lost on you. It also twists in your stomach in a most unpleasant fashion. I've got a good reason to feel guilty, Brom. That crew died, and you taking responsibility is noble, but if Tolmany is right, it isn't your fault. It's not that simple. You don't understand. Only because I don't know. I won't make you tell me anything that you don't want to, though. You nod quickly. The last thing that you want is to be talking about everything wrong with your life that led you here. Thanks, Brom. You're welcome. But hey, just for the record. You perk both ears as you nod to him. He smiles. If you decide you do want to talk about this stuff, any stuff, If it's really bothering you. He smiles more broadly as he reaches out a paw to you. Hesitantly, you place one of your own in his and he squeezes it gently. I will never judge you for it, not ever, whatever it is. You cannot but feel your heart flutter a little at the prospect. Your ears burn and you pin them back quickly. That's one massive offer, you know. I am your doctor. It's quite literally my job to look after you. You can't help the little quiet chuckle that escapes you. The sound of it only widens Bromka's smile, like he was just waiting to hear it. That better be a promise then. Then it is a promise. Alright, then we'll see, I guess. The curl of the bear's muzzle softens. It becomes something warmer than the boisterous grin that he usually presents. As nice as it would be, and as comforting as the smile is on the bear's plush features, you don't need to burden him. Maybe that'll change. Maybe if he persists and you're actually willing to dive into all of that, you could. But that's not today. As tempting as it is, still the offer is generous and appreciated. I don't deserve you, Brom. None of the crew do. Possibly, but that's never stopped them before. Why should it stop you? His grin returns in full force, and you return it as you force your shoulders to relax. Now that that's well and truly out of the way, we should do something. You blink. Something? He halves his bulk up and out of the data-term chair as he nods. Yes, something. Something is good for the soul, especially with how tense you look. Damn, that obvious, is it? Then again, maybe he's just that perceptive. What do you have in mind? Whatever would please you. Oh, come on. You don't have any ideas yourself? The bear smiles and shakes his head. Honestly, no. I came here to do a little study, but that wouldn't necessarily satisfy you. I could flirt with him a bit more, but I'm not gonna make him blush again. Hey, that depends on what it is. Recipe hunting could be fun. That it can, but perhaps not as much fun for some as the eating. But trust me, I am not so wrapped up in my passions that I expect everyone to follow me so deep into them. Well, maybe you'll need a kitchen paw. What's an assistant chef called anyway? He chuckles at that, and you smile wide. I think assistant technology mostly eliminated the need for them. There is certainly no need for any assistants on this ship. What was yesterday then? Ah, good point. New perspectives can definitely make for new dishes and new flavors. And I would be very pleased to craft new meals with you again. You shrug and smile. I may take you up on that. Then I will look forward to the chance to do so again. He laughs once more and you cannot but smile with him. Ah, but that is enough for that, I think. We must find something suitably enjoyable. Why does it have to be something? Why can't it just be someone? He smiles at that, folding his arms as he nods along. You are right, of course. Sometimes it can be nice to do nothing, but in the company of someone you feel comfortable to be around. I doubt you slow down like that a lot. Oh, you might be surprised. Even if my esteemed crewmates don't always give me all that much peace, I'm very happy to simply be. Though not as happy as some, in such a circumstance. You arch an eyebrow as Bromka leads you from the data term to the recess couch. You gonna make me guess? Only if you want me to, though it wouldn't be fair of me to speak of people behind their back. You sit down beside Bromka and shake your head. He's not wrong. No, best not to. I don't want to get you in trouble with anyone. I knew you cared. He leans back on the couch and looks towards the hollow projector in the center of the pit. A smile once more touches his muzzle. Trust me? The question raises suspicion, ironically enough, but you nod back to the bear. Sure. His smile broadens as he leans back down and begins to tap on the projector's control console. Miz comes to the rec room often, spends a lot of his free time here. Oh yeah? Doing what? Whatever takes his fancy, of course. Miz is very much a creature of personal comfort. He has quite the interest in GameSoft if you're inclined to challenge him, and if not, he's just as pleased to spend more time watching Hollows or enjoying a nice VSim. Well, that's good to know. My interests here, however, are a little simpler. He pauses for a moment as he enters the final command in the projector's keypad and steps back. As he sits back down beside you, the lights around you dim. Your view of the projector fades as a hollow curtain shimmers around it. A moment later, the projector unit is shrouded in holographic flame. The fire is rigged in stone, with chunks of wood glowing brightly as flame licks up and around it. You recoil for a moment as your heart quickens. Your youth was spent desperately avoiding fire. It's holographic, but the reflex to find an extinguisher and lock down the system, well, your parents taught you well. Bromka smiles at you as he settles in. It's not the same, but it is nice nonetheless. You frown down at the fire as you cross one leg over the other. No heat radiates off of the flames, as real as they look. You could always load up an environment and jack into one of the chairs here, jump into a VSIM with a nice fire and actually get the sensory feedback. The bear grimaces and shakes his head, his eyes fixed on the fire as he sighs. I don't enjoy sims. I find them distressing, I suppose. You blink. That's new. You went through the IGA medical track and you were distressed by virtual environments? You didn't expect the words to come out sounding so flippant, but the hint of a glare on Bronco's face when he turns towards you tells you clear enough that you made a mistake. Sorry. That didn't come out the way that I wanted. His glare fades. It's okay. Thank you. It's just hard to explain. His paws ring for a moment before he lays them to either side of his legs. I should just be quiet. Kayam ta natha. Enjoy the flame. You don't have to explain, but I'm kind of curious now. He nods to himself, and you hear his fingertips rubbing against the fabric of the couch. In every culture, flame is sacred. You definitely got that impression yesterday, what with the whole feeding your flame thing. It's a representation of life, and nearly all of the old faiths relate to the flame in some way. It is a common thread between all bears. I wonder if the seeds had something to do with that. Many wonder the same, if our fates are just something that the human seed device is programmed into our developing society. Regardless of the why, the dominant faiths consider the essence of the self to be as a flame. The natha, spirit, soul, what have you. You find yourself sitting forward a little. You didn't know that the bear was a being of faith. It's not a common thing in the modern day after all. Ascension robbed a lot of faiths of their ability to attract people. Does food enter into this belief? He folds his arms as he leans back into the chair, nodding his head. It's different for everyone, but often yes. We all need sustenance and the power of a good meal to bring people together. I see the connection where others do not. So it may be hard to understand, but for my people, this is the better option. The flame is fake. It looks right, but it does not pretend to be what it is not. It is nothing but hollow light. He pauses and looks to you. You frown for a moment before you realize that he's waiting for you to put it together. And in a sim environment, everything looks and feels and smells real? Yes, it imitates life, a false perception of reality. For the more fundamentalist, Hevri, V-Sims are tantamount to blasphemy. He's definitely drawn the line in the sand there. And you? He smiles, his eyes glittering in the hollow light of his fire. I don't go so far, no, but they feel empty to me. They feel as real as anything if they are well made, but we know that they aren't. I would rather my perception of reality be unencumbered. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Bromka smirks and shakes his head. Many would disagree with you. I am glad that you aren't among them. He seems to settle in on the couch as he watches the flames. They flicker, looking up towards the ceiling of the rec room as if they were really there. It's strange. All of your childhood, fire was danger. Fire was death. It meant something on your ship had gone catastrophically wrong, and the air being eaten up. And yet, sitting here now with Bromka, in the new silence that follows, the nerves that sparked at the sight of the fire fade away. It's calming, relaxing. You're not sure how much of it is the fire and how much is Bromka himself, but you'll take it. You find yourself easily relaxing and far more than you had thought. You might actually want to get some rest soon, but for now, this is nice. After a few quiet moments, you do start to sidle in closer to the bear. He responds almost instantly by doing much the same. You smile as the two of you remain silent, and lean into his side. This, you decide, is a very worthy way to spend your time. There you stay with Bromka for the next little while. There is no need to speak. The value is just in the quiet share of the company. Bathed in the light of the holographic flame and the warmth of Bromka's presence beside you, you while away the minutes in invigorating comfort. It may not be what you expected to do, but now that you've had this little bit of time with Bromka, you're glad you came. When Bromka finally rises and disables a projector to head out, you find yourself missing the warmth of his presence beside you. Nothing great can last, apparently. He's very grateful, at least. His offer to spend some more time together later is certainly not unappealing, and as green when you tell him that you're interested. It's brighter than any projector could ever manage. However, that's for then. Let's see, you step outside of the corridor and glance up and down the way. It doesn't show anything else immediately. You wander your way up and towards the quarters. Thoughts linger on your time spent with Bromka. A quick check on the time shows that you're about halfway through the second shift. Well, if there was a second shift. The day is still pretty young. Time to figure out what you want to do next. And that's where I'm going to leave it for today. So from here on out, the episodes might be like a weird amount of time, because the whole section where you get to spend some time with the whole different characters is really long, and certain characters you get to spend more time with them than others. So yeah, like I think that the last part is just going to be Tolmany, so yeah. Anyways, so we got to spend some time with the captain, which we didn't get to spend in the previous part, in the first day, I think. And yeah, I know that you could have spent some time with him now, but like, oh well, you can't change that anymore now. I decided to spend more time with Bromka because he's my favorite. So yeah. Anyways, so the captain. So it seems that the reason that he's in space is because he was trying to run away from something, and I'm pretty sure, given context clues, that he's a divorcee and he has kids, that he probably was running away from his, I don't want to say his family, but like his life in general. So he's probably having what amounts to like a 20-year-old's version of a midlife crisis, where he's like, oh, I'm married young, I have kids, I don't want to be here. Unless, of course, he ended up finding his spouse while he was already in space. Ended up having his kids while he was in space, so like, okay. But still, like, apparently he did not like his prospects when he was younger, so he decided to just buy a ship and then head into space. And he got where he is now. He's divorced and he has 2 kids, I think. But he has a very nice ship and an eccentric crew, I guess you could call it. But he's a little hesitant to speak at length more about his past with Rail so far. But he does seem amiable to it. I think out of all the characters in my lineup of these are the characters that I'm willing to spend time with, he is the more normal one. And by normal, I mean, I think that's how I would expect a normal person to be. I guess just because he's the captain. He's not like, oh yeah, let me tell you my life story, or something like that. It's just a normal little guy. A normal little captain in space. But yeah. Also, we got to, I guess, meet Oba in person. Quote unquote in person, because he just got to see her brain. And yeah, I guess that's more or less what I expected. I wonder if we're eventually going to come back in there because we have to do something, because I don't know, like maybe Anwell messed with her and we have to fix it. I don't know. Also, we got to spend time with Bromka, the one who I more or less prefer in the whole cast of this visual novel. But yeah, interesting cast. Well, not really. I just like Bromka the most, and Oba, and Tolmany. And the captain, I guess, a little. What was I talking about? Oh, Bromka. I kind of feel that Rail does need to explore more about what happened, so that he can probably not exactly move from it, because I mean, that would be bad. But he kind of has to move from that mindset of like, oh no, it's my fault that they all blew up. Oh my God. Into another mindset in order to be able to either properly suss out what happened or fix his code or something. Because right now he's just in a in I don't know how to properly phrase it, but like he's sort of stuck. And as long as he remains stuck in that mindset, he may never be able to figure out what happened. And you're gonna see more about that in the next video. But yeah, I think that's kind of what Bromka was trying to talk to him about when Rail got all like ooh, no, no, you don't know what happened, or like whatever. Again, you're gonna see a little bit more about that in the next video. But yeah, I think that's also one of my issues with Rail as the main character so far, that I kind of feel that all the other characters have more meat on their bones, so to speak, on their story, on their flesh, on them being fleshed out as characters than Rail. Because right now, I think depending on which sort of background that you pick, it sort of changes your reason for being there. But like for the most part, it you're sort of stuck with what we're experiencing now. But it kind of feels like that's his only thing. Like he's kind of one-dimensional. And a lot of the interactions that he's having, and I'm speaking about the whole update so far as a whole, I don't know if I like Rail specifically as a character, or if I'm having fun reading it because of him. Yeah, because again, it reminds me again of the Mass Effect games where you have these companions and then you have to like speak to them ever so often in order to progress their stories, to learn more about them and whatnot. But the main character, which would be Commander Shepard, you don't really expand anything on him because he's just he's just the vehicle for the story. And that kind of feels like what Rail is. And I'm usually used to, in visual novels, having the main character also evolve in the story, or also bring something to the story. And right now, that doesn't feel like what Rail is doing. He's just sort of boring. Like, yeah, he's smart and he can do all these things because that's what I picked for him. But like, I'm kind of bored of him. Like there is more flesh, there's more backstory, there's more interesting things going on with Bromka and the captain and Oba and Tulmany and even Sam and Anwell and everyone else, but like Rail's just sort of there. Like if he disappeared, then nobody would notice. But again, I know that this is just because the story started and whatnot, but like there's just something rubbing me in a wrong way about Rail that I kind of like. I don't know how to properly explain it without sounding very rude or whatever to the writers. Okay, so like I just want you to know that like the story is okay so far. It's just something about Rail that's like, I kind of wish that there was more to you. And I don't mean it like, oh, I wish he was more, like he did more. Like, well, no, because he's already doing a lot. I kind of wish, I don't know, I think it kind of reminds me of the whole situation with Theodore in Raincheck, where he's just sort of there. Everyone else is doing everything, but Theodore's just there. Whereas with Rail, we do have the story going on. He is participating in the story and whatnot. He's contributing to the story, but just, I don't like Rail. I prefer every other character more than him for some weird reason. But yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe it'll change as the story develops. But yeah. Anywho, so what are your thoughts? If you would like to play Void Dreamer yourself, you can do so by going down into the link in the description, which will have a direct link for the itch.io page where you can download the game and play it yourself. If you would like to support the project, they do have a Patreon, I think, if I recall correctly, where you can support the project and get early access to builds of it, hopefully. If you would like to support the channel, you can become a channel member, get earlier access to these videos as they are being scheduled. And, it does support me and support the channel. And if you can't or you don't want to, you can support through Ko-fi. So yeah, you can do it as little as $1. It doesn't get early access, but still, it does help support. Also thrown in case, you're feeling generous, more generous. But yeah. Anyways, so I guess that's it for now, and I'll see you guys in the next part. Bye-bye.